Welcome to a new episode of Outside the Panels with your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Outside the Panels. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and as you know, I like a good Kickstarter. However, with that said, I think fair being fair, there are other things out there than Kickstarter. There are other ways to get your crowdfunded comics in play. Case in point, coming up, we have the ultra talented Nick. I forgot your surname. That's awful. Nick Gibson. Hey, there we go. Fantastic. Nick Gibson. How you doing, Nick?
Pretty good. How you doing, sir?
Well, I'll be better after to remember people's names. I'll tell you what.
Next time.
Next time, Gadget. Next time. So
I was actually thinking about saying that. You literally read my mind there, bro.
Gadget. So Phoenix Press, you have a book on Indiegogo, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Indiegogo. What is your book called?
Screecher.
Screecher. Are we okay showing the video?
Yes, you are. It uses copyright-free music.
All right, excellent. Okay, then. So, you want to know what's going on? Let's just bring up the video and you can have a look. Here we go. Add it to the boom.
My name is Avery Fletcher. After 7 years away, I have come home with only one goal: to save my father. But to do that, I can't be the woman I once was. To honor my father's legacy, I must become someone else. I must become something else. I must become Screecher.
There you go.
My name?
There you go. How cool is that? Very impressive.
Pretty darn cool, honestly. Pretty darn cool.
We have to address the elephant in the room a little bit, I think, on that one.
You mean the owl in the room?
No, I have the owl in the room. Okay. So, you're absolutely right. Copyright-free music. Copyright-free narration, perhaps?
Considering that I paid for it, it's not copyright-free, but I own the copyright. I literally paid someone to do that narration.
No, that's cool. I was thinking more of the I must be someone else. I must be something.
I mean, literally, I wrote the dialogue, and yes, I did base it off of Arrow. You know.
There we go. My name is Oliver Queen.
But it kind of falls in the realm of like parody, satire kind of thing.
Cool, that's cool.
But like I wrote that whole spiel, and then I paid a voice actress to do it.
No,
so I mean,
oh,
I give myself permission to use that narration.
That's fine. Well, I was inferring the Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was very deliberate.
Are you a big Arrow fan from the TV show?
I am, though, like most people, the series kind of lost interest to me. Like, the first 2 seasons are amazing, and then, like, next 2 seasons are and then I kind of dropped off after, like, the 4th season, maybe 4th or 5th, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the magic season's the one that gets you.
Yeah, the narration in particular is actually based off the first season intro. I literally just kind of, like, got the whole thing, and then I kind of, like, tweaked it to fit Screecher and whatnot. I don't know. I always thought that the intro to Arrow was a really good framing device, and I thought like Screecher kind of has a somewhat of a similar tone to Arrow, at least kind of what I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe a little bit lighter, maybe not as graphic as Arrow, but like just the framing device, I really thought was great. I thought it would be perfect for this trailer, so that's kind of why I did that.
No, good shout. I think for people who like their superheroes and their vigilantes a certain way, I think you've absolutely probably hung your hat on that nail and said, "There you go, this is it," and you go for it. So I agree with you. I think Arrow season 1. In fact, I'm a little bit more generous. I think season 1 through 3 is fine. The Magic season's a bit bonkers. The 5th one's all right, and then it kind of when it catches up with itself, that's when it loses something. I think, but that's just
yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, the same thing happened with Flash. Those first few seasons of Flash were just amazing. I'm surprised Flash last 9 seasons, to be honest.
I've got to be. First season of Flash is as good a first season as anything. To be honest, I just lost track of I'm the fastest man alive stuff, and then somebody would always beat them for a season.
Yeah, it's like every season was a different speedster as the main villain. I mean, don't get me wrong, Zoom in season 2 was really cool. Doing that Earth 2 stuff was actually really cool. The way they introduced Jake Garrick and had it be like a doppelganger of the father. You know, that's some cool stuff, you know, because John Wesley Shipp is actually a really good actor. And sure, he was the original Flash, but he's just actually a really good actor to boot. And I think he actually worked really well as Barry's father. Like, I think he played that role amazingly. So, just more John Wesley Shipp, please.
Watch Dawson's Creek.
It kind of reminds me, like, that one. I think that one time where they went into the past actually had Dawson's Creek playing on TV.
Yeah, you kind of do that. But you're right. The framing device. I mean, it's been used by CW on all the shows, so it must work. So using that idea is a great call. Tell me about Screecher then. Enough Arrow talk. Screecher. I read on your Indiegogo that this is aimed at that 90s sort of comics fan, early 2000 comic fan. So what was the inspiration for the book?
It was kind of like a wide variety of books, like a lot of the Batman titles, like late 90s or 2000s, like the Chuck Dixon Batman Nightwing run, some of the Young Justice comics of the time. And with kind of shades of like Ultimate Spider-Man kind of thrown in there, kind of like that kind of like maybe a little bit of Spider-Man Blue, a little bit, if you remember that kind of run where it's like kind of like that hopeful, like for me, I kind of like that middle ground where it's like, it's not dark, it's not light, it's kind of like somewhere in the middle. You're kind of like your Batman the Animated Series. Batman series was dark, but like that's kind of where I like where it can go dark and go light, but it can go do either and it works, And so that's kind of where I'm trying to stick this, like a Justice League Unlimited, kind of thing. DCAU, basically. Let's just say.
I mean, DCAU is of especially of that era is par excellence. It's absolutely everything they do is fantastic.
Maybe
Batman,
the Smallville's a little bit,
I love Smallville. I have all 10 seasons. I love Smallville. So, but you've got things like you've got Batman Beyond, The New Adventures. You've got Superman. You've got Justice League. You've got Justice League Unlimited. That whole range is just, and I think you're absolutely right. I think those shows kind of, especially the Batman shows, kind of have a dark vibe, but not every episode is like super grim.
Yeah, and the thing is, even when they're dark, they're still appropriate for children, and that's something that I was trying to capture here. Is basically I wanted it to be dark and be interesting because, like, I think that's something we've kind of lost in today's like kids cartoons. Is kids cartoons even in 2000s, in 2010s even, you saw kids cartoons that were dark and like interesting. It's like I wanted to do the type of media where kids can fully enjoy it and it's perfectly appropriate for them, but the adults also can like legitimately enjoy it. Like Gargoyles is still enjoyed by so many people. Batman the Animated Series is still consumed as serious media by a lot of people. Like there's people who analyze Batman the Animated Series for its themes and its content, and it was a freaking Saturday morning cartoon show that people do like college level thesis on. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I think I agree with you, but I also think the later the Batman show doesn't get enough love. It should get more love, but that's just me. What can I say?
Yeah, that one kind of leaned a little bit more on the lighter side. Well, it really depends because like at first glance you thought it leaned on the lighter side, but that thing, especially when you look at the designs, like edgier, I think would probably be the word to describe it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's have a picture. There we go. how meta is that? This is your heroine or heroine,
Avery Fletcher.
Yeah, excellent. So, how does she get? Can you tell me how she gets her a zoot suit and all the equipment, or is that
that would be telling?
All right. Oh man, what can you tell us?
That's one of the mysteries that we'll be exploring in this first volume.
So her dad's locked away. Is that right? She's yeah. She returns to the city. She's gonna try and save her dad. All right. Okay. Cool. Do we get to find out what he has allegedly done?
That is also one of the plot elements of volume.
Oh,
I can't give away all my secrets at first blush. You at least gotta buy me a drink first. Jeez.
Want a Coke?
Well, that's already used, so
there's still some left. All right. Okay. So, female hero. There's a lot of, I suppose, there's a lot of focus, and there has been for a number of years, on how females are used hero-wise. You know, DC have kind of backed away from people like Power Girl. Yet you've got the Batgirls kind of in there. Supergirl's always kicking around. Spider-Woman, Captain Marvel for Marvel. How is it for you to try and kind of walk that path, I guess? Because you know you want to make sure you want that book that appeals to everybody. How do you kind of?
For me, the key is relatability. For me, the appeal is empathy, and I feel like a lot of characters in like the mainstream media you get is they're written honestly poorly. They're written with a very specific type of mindset. Like look at She-Hulk. You know, it was written by a certain type of people that appeals to a certain type of group to the exclusion of everyone else. You know, and you see a lot of these like girl boss tropes, or just like these types of characters where they're very brash and demeaning, and they just like they have no redeeming qualities. It's like they're writing villains as protagonists, and for me, I want to create a character to where people enjoy it, because I keep seeing the phrase "men don't hate strong female characters; they hate badly written characters."
That is also
I've said it myself many times, and that's basically my marching orders with this one. You know, I'm not creating a strong female character. I'm creating a well-written character. Gender goes out the window. You know, because like my approach to creating characters is I focus on the character traits first. It's like, what do I want this character to be? And gender is really not even a part of it. You know, because like I feel like there's a lot of the character traits are non-gender specific. So it's like, you know, I create the character first and then the gender. You know, I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, I want this character to also be a woman, but like it's always about the character traits. Right. Like the gender is second at best. You know, that's my approach anyway.
Okay, cool. So I kind of agree with you. I like good characters, all right, which is probably why Captain Marvel is doing so well, because Kelly Thompson absolutely is nailing that book month in, month out. Yeah? Somebody else does Captain Marvel, it's a different kettle of fish, maybe. You know? Right, so of the 90s and 2000s, you mentioned Chuck Dixon, the Batman books, Nightwing, that sort of stuff. What else would act as your inspiration? You've got the Dad in Jail, kind of like the Flash. You've got the Coming Back. You've got the Save Your City or Save Your Dad, which is Arrow-esque, I suppose. What other inspirations do you have in relation to this book?
Like I also kind of mentioned, you got your Ultimate Spider-Man, a little bit of Spider-Man Blue there. I always, as bad as Bendis is now, his early Spider-Man stuff was really good. Like I'm going to give him some credit for that. I really liked early Ultimate Spider-Man was really good. I actually liked Ultimate X-Men as well. Those are some quality books right there. You know, a little maybe you're young
X-Men.
I've always been more of a DC guy, to be honest. Like,
me too.
As far as like Spider-Man's cool. I like Daredevil, X-Men as well. But I don't really consume too much X-Men content outside of like the classic stuff, like the Claremont stuff. I kind of read a little bit of that, and then Ultimate X-Men, I read a bunch of that.
Cool. So tell me about your writing style then, because you're the creator, writer of the book. You mentioned how you go with the characters and then lay the specifics down the line. When it comes to writing plot points and things like that, do you kind of go, these are the points I want to cover, now how do I get there? Or do you write it all in kind of like one longhand version?
Oh, probably what I do is I kind of like plot it out in my head to a certain degree, and then I write like an outline, which is more of like prose than it is actual thing. It's just like this happens. Mm-hmm. It's like basically a description, like maybe cut like page long at most, of like this happens in the book, to where I basically like A, B, C, B, D, plot point, kind of thing. And then from there, it's just, laying the connective tissue when I go down to write it. But like, it's more of like the outline is more of a roadmap to where if I get stuck, I consult the outline and be like, okay, this is where I'm going with it. So this is where I need to kind of trudge on, and it's very helpful because like doing the outline is kind of crystallizes at least the idea of what I'm going for. So that way, when I do sit down to write the actual script, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm writing. So it makes it a lot easier.
Do you find writing dialogue difficult?
Not really. I tend to kind of follow the Quentin Tarantino kind of school of dialogue where it's like, keep it loose, keep it casual, there was kind of a time where I was like, weed and speak a little bit, but I've kind of taken a step back away from that. I mean, I do like cleverness, but like, it's more just like loose and casual, like, cause like, I don't know, you get a lot of these movies where like people talk like screenwriters, or you have like a 6-year-old girl, she's talking like a 30-year-old screenwriter. It just takes you out of the movie. So like, I'm very mindful of like, what's this character? What's their socioeconomic background? How would this person talk? Or like what kind of things would they say? Like if I don't do accent, I'm very mindful of like, are they more aggressive with how they word things? Are they more soft? It's very much kind of keep things in mind.
I suppose that links well to what you were saying about relatability. Yeah, not every character has the same voice. Not every character looks the same, so therefore there has to be elements of differentiation between the characters, right?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
Like for example, one of the defining vocal traits, like if you go back to Star Trek: The Next Generation, Data doesn't use contractions. That's literally a part of his character, and it actually came to plot point because like they had his evil twin Lore, who did use contractions, and that's how they're able to find out, oh, you're not Data, you're using contractions. It's a very I mean it's Next Generation, of course, it's clever writing, but like it's that kind of stuff that I try and keep in mind.
It's really hard to get that level of kind of observation past readers nowadays because comic book readers are an aging breed. It seems that every time I go into a comic book shop, there is no kids there reading comics.
Well, that's kind of a failure of not necessarily us, but the mainstream of bringing in the next generation. The next generation pretty much is going with manga. That's why it's selling so well.
Indeed. There you go. But I like all bat singers, so that's fine. How did you come up with the design for the character?
Well, I basically kind of just took like different elements of some of my favorite kind of heroes and kind of mashed them together and kind of put my own spin on it. Like it's kind of a mixture of like Batman, Moon Knight, Dove from Titans, and then like the Hood is from like Assassin's Creed and whatnot, and then just kind of went from there.
Cool. Moon Knight. You don't see a lot of Moon Knight.
What's funny is I really started conceiving this character like last year and then when the show got announced, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to be promoting my book when season 1's coming out. So I was afraid of the comparisons. I never really got it in a demeaning way. Yeah. Like this is just a Moon Knight ripoff,
All right, interesting. So there must be some similar elements to the book. Intriguing.
I mean, there's not really any supernatural elements. Like, he's a tech hero. It's very, like, kind of like the suit has abilities, and, he's kind of a skilled person in her own right. That's really the crux of it.
Cool. Excellent. Right. What we'll do, we'll take a quick break for one of our adverts. What have I got? Oh, there you go. It's the Definitive Crusade. Check it out. There you go, the Definitive Crusade, the only place on the UCPN where you can get all your DC shenanigans going on. There you go. Oh. Right, I'm coming to this. So, is this your first major effort in writing comic books, Nick?
No, it's actually this is probably the fourth comic I've released.
Wow, that's impressive. Very impressive. How do you find working with other people? Because comics are a collaborative thing. Are you a bit of a takeover Ted, or do you kind of let your art team do what they need to do?
I kind of lean more towards the latter. It's really about finding good collaborators that you trust and you work well with. I'm kind of fortunate to where I'm kind of starting to find those people, like the artist that I work with on this one. I worked with on a previous project, which was like a Cyberpunk Samurai kind of thing, and I work well with him. He does good work and whatnot, so like that really helps. And it's just and it kind of honestly it goes back to just trusting the artist, because like even when I'm when I'm writing the scripts, when I do the scene descriptions, I'm very like I don't go into too much detail. Like I go into some like see like hey, this is what happens. Sometimes I'll say like, hey, I want it from this angle, maybe, or like I'll talk about the expressions on their faces. But other than that, I just leave it to the artist, because my opinion is I hired a professional. Like I'm not an artist, so it's like if you hire them and you trust them to do what they're gonna do, let them do their thing. And also, I believe literally spelling it out to an artist is kind of boring for them. I feel like when they can make their own kind of creative choices and kind of have fun with it, it makes it a more enjoyable experience for them, and that's something that I really want to cultivate. I want an artist to enjoy themselves while working on the book.
Cool, excellent. So let's give out some credits. I'm going to get the names wrong because I am famous for getting names wrong. Artist is Brian Kruger.
I just call him Brian Q because I too have problems pronouncing his name.
Thank God for that. Cover artist is Xevious. Colorist is, I'm going to say, Gucci Timonji.
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, yeah.
That's what I'm going with. And letterer, thank God I can say this, Nikki Powers. There you go. Thank you, Nikki, for saving my bacon on that one.
Quite a powerful name, if I must say so.
Yeah, just like Powers.
I mean, just such a big KK name.
Yeah, definitely. How? So, from your point of view, this is your writing, this is your baby. The artist produces the pencils and the inks and stuff. Is that where you get involved before it goes to colorists and then off to Nikki, or do you kind of wait to see the whole shebang before you say, "Well"?
Well, actually, I'm involved in it in every stage, and truth be told, it's better that I get involved at the early stage. You know, because like the earlier there is when like let's say there's like a major kind of thing where it's like I need change, it's a lot easier to fix it as like the thumbnail stage or even pencils than when it goes a full length. So it's actually better that like I'm there on the ground floor. I approve every page. I approve every version. It's just better for me to be at there earlier because like let's say he did this whole page where like the layout is all wrong and it's not how I want it. It's a lot better to say at the thumbnail stage to say, hey, this is wrong. Can you redo it? But then when he has a full finished ink where he has to literally go through all the work again, you know, like they're a lot more receptive to do it at the thumbnail stage where it's a lot easier to fix. Whereas ink's just like, oh, come on, which. You know, I'm kind of a butthole for making them fix at the ink stage, honestly.
So this will be produced digitally, I assume.
Pencils are usually done by hand. A lot of my artists tend to do pencils by hand. I mean, not all of them, but like from there, it's usually inked and colored and lettered digitally.
Okay, cool. I was just curious because a lot of books are digital nowadays. I was just curious.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. I think really. The only art form that's still sometimes done by hand is penciling. Other than that, everything is. You still have a few hand inkers out there, but other than that, everything's done digitally.
Cool. Who are your favorite artists then? You mentioned a couple of your writers. You mentioned Chuck Dixon. You mentioned Bendis. Sort of art styles as a writer, when you put your scenes together, you must have some idea of like how, as you say, the angles you want to be or where the emotion is. What sort of artists do that for you?
Well, first off, first one that comes to mind would be Scott McDaniel, who worked with Chuck Dixon on like the early Nightwing issues. Nightwing's actually my favorite hero, so you're going to be hearing that name a lot.
You and my wife.
Like it's actually kind of a dream of mine to have Scott McDaniel do a cover. He actually doesn't charge too much. Some other artists that I really like are Michael Turner, you know, the guy who did like Witchblade, Tomb Raider. Yeah. Oh, good God, rest in peace. Other than that, you got like the usuals like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, you know, maybe some Dave Gibbons here and there. But yeah, definitely I'm kind of like a Scott McDaniel fan. George Perez. I got to give a shout out to George Perez.
All right, cool. Well, I am also a Scott McDaniel fan, so I totally get that. Although I will say I liked him better on Nightwing than I did on Batman.
Oh, Scott McDaniel is like the Nightwing artist for me. Like seriously.
Yeah. I've interviewed Chuck Dixon a couple of times. He's a good guy.
I have too. He's a great dude. Like seriously, it's what's really crazy is like Chuck Dixon is kind of the hero of mine, and they say don't meet your heroes, but like in this instance, it actually was a good thing because like he's actually a pretty cool dude, and like he's actually really nice, really open. And it's like the guy who inspired a lot of my comic book work. Like I read a lot of his comics back in the day. He's like him, Marv Wolfman are like two of the reasons why I'm here in the first place. To have him like see my work and like it, it's just like so. It's like sorry.
That's fine. You made me laugh when you said about meet your heroes. I was part of a team that interviewed Chris Claremont, and I don't think
that must have been surreal.
I just don't think he appreciated my sense of humor, I guess.
He's a kind of a firebrand, you know. But Chuck Dixon is cool. Like
Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan.
Even if you don't agree with what he says, you can at least agree he's a nice guy.
Oh, he's a good guy. Good guy. We talked about Batman and Bane a lot. Right, back to you. We can do this together. Oh, bless. That's nice.
Yeah, I've been upping my meme game with like Screecher memes and whatnot.
Together spelt wrong. I just noticed you missed an E.
I have failed the city.
I have just noticed. I wouldn't have spotted that if I hadn't.
I mean, to be fair, my spelling is terrible, so I regret everything.
You can't say that as a writer.
I'm sorry. Spell check and editors are literally my best friend. Like seriously, I would not. Well, who would I be without a good editor? Like seriously.
I can't trust spell check. I'm British. Spell check's all American. I can't trust it.
You Americans and your American style spell check. It's like, that's not how you spell color.
Yeah. Stop putting Z's in places where S's should be.
I mean, you British, stop putting U's in everything. Like, seriously.
It's called English for a reason, dude.
You call apartments flats.
Well, they are flats.
They're apartments. They're a part of Mints.
There's no other building in the world called Mints. So it can't be a part of a mint, can it?
I mean, in Minsk, you have a part of Minsk.
Oh man, I could do this all day.
It's not chips, it's fries.
Whoa! It is,
and chips. It's not a bonnet; it's a hood.
No, a hood's the thing you put over your head.
But I thought you called the hood of your car a bonnet.
It is a bonnet. Yeah. So it can't be a hood, can it?
And it's not a boot; it's a trunk.
No, a trunk's like a great big case.
Oh, you're just taking the piss out of me.
No, I'm not. Honestly, a trunk is like a great big heavy traveling case.
But it's also the back of your car where you store your groceries.
No, that's the boot.
A boot is something you put on your feet when you want a secure footing.
See, yeah. Dude, I didn't create it, man. So I write reviews for Comic Crusaders, and because I know it's an American website, I drop my U's and just
because like the editors will be like, you spelled color wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but I'll keep the S's in the right places. I'd like you to explain to me a picture, if you will. You sent over a whole ton of stuff. It was really appreciated. I really do it like that. What's this all about?
This was a picture I did to kind of post on social media where I kind of pointed out a tribute I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because the claws that I gave Screecher were directly inspired by Black Panther, and that panel itself was a tribute to Black Panther. That was kind of like my homage to Black Panther.
Cool. Actually, it's a good homage. I like it a lot. Yeah, I mean, great actor, absolute great actor.
Rest in peace. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, without Chadwick Boseman, especially the way they're going with Wakanda Forever, I'm just not interested. Like, I liked Black Panther. I thought it was a really great movie. I thought it was really fun. But and Chadwick Boseman was an amazing Black Panther. I would have loved to like honestly, if anyone could have been like the leader of like the new MCU, like took it over for Iron Man, if it was Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, I would have been okay with that. Because like he had the charisma, he had like the gravitas. It's like when Tony Stark entered the room, everyone kind of turned their head. In Black Panther, you had the same thing. I feel like Black Panther could have been like the new like center figure, and it's just kind of tragic.
I agree. I agree with the fact that he's such a strong character. He's such a great actor. I'm not a big fan of the movie. I feel it's the same movie 3 times. But that's just a plot thing for me. I
mean, that's just kind of like a Marvel thing. Like, they're very production line with their stuff now.
It's plug and play. Do you remember the term plug and play? When you buy computer hardware, you don't have to download any software. You just plug it in and go for it. And that's exactly how I see Marvel movies. You can swap out Star-Lord and put Spider-Man in it. It wouldn't make a hair of difference.
Yeah, and it's like some of them are really good. Like WandaVision, at least, like you may not like it, but at least it tried something new.
I liked WandaVision.
I do generally like Hawkeye.
I didn't mind
Falcon Winter Soldier. It's honestly the most by the numbers Marvel thing, but the buddy cop thing actually kind of makes it work. Like the whole buddy cop dynamic between Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think I like it. Loki was literally just no plot. Like it was just Tom Hiddleston being Tom Hiddleston for 8 episodes.
I fell asleep in the 2nd episode and I've never gone back since of Loki.
Yeah, it's very much I don't know, just like
enough. Do you have multimedia plans for Screecher?
more multimedia desires, because right now I'm kind of focused on creating a really good comic, and if stuff happens later, cool. It's more just like create a good comic, put it out there, and then kind of go from there. Like honestly, kind of going back to Turn Samurai, that one is probably more likely to kind of see something, because like Turn Samurai, I could see becoming an anime.
Cool. Especially with everyone being so manga centric at the minute. On the screen is your Indiegogo page. I'll share the link in a moment. Because I'm in the UK, it's translated into pounds for me. However, you are currently, as time of recording, you are sitting at $1,144 against a goal of 1,300. That is very, very close.
That is insane that I've gotten that in almost a week.
It is crazy. Well, a couple of other things to notice. You have 46 backers. I think that's a huge amount for money for that level of backers. And on top of that, you have got 25 days left at the time of recording. That's very impressive also.
So it's like 95% certain I'll get funded at this point.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Right now I'm just trying to push to get funded in the first week. I want them bragging rights.
Right. So as with all Kickstarters and Indiegogos, there are some peaks and benefits. We're looking here. You can get all the comics for $50. Includes digital, physical, trading cards, holo comic, holo card, stickers, and a print. You're shipping worldwide. Is that much of a problem for you?
The expense is really the big thing. I'm charging $25 for international shipping, and I'm actually having fulfillment done by a third party company, and I might have to pitch in a little bit more. Like that's kind of really why I have the $5 digital tier. It's for people who like are international and like they don't want to pay like $25 shipping on like a $10 comic, which I do not blame them in the slightest.
Yeah.
So it's like if they want to support me, they can just do the $5 digital tier and it's all good.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to make out. I mean, the cost of living is attacking loads of different areas, and shipping's one of the things where you've got transport costs going up, fuel costs going up. It isn't always feasible. As much as you want to have that comic in your hand, it's always feasible to pay that amount of postage just for a comic book, I suppose. Digital. I'm a floppy fan. I'd rather have a comic than a digital, but I can see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Let's see, a goodie bag for $20. Love that. Excellent. Foil cover. None of those are available. No one's claimed one yet. The Talon edition. Whoa.
Yeah, that's the big one. You'll get that's like for like the collector versions. And it's like you get all the comics that I've done so far, plus an additional comic that's going to be spot foiled in purple, and it's going to be limited. It's going to say Talon edition on it. It's going to say something of 25, and it's going to be hand numbered. And then the print that you get with it is going to be signed by both me and the cover artist Xevious.
Okay, cool. The cover art, absolutely, it's great. I like the cover art, definitely.
Yeah, I lucked out with that one.
Yeah. Some Purple Rain vibe going on there for definite. for sure. I like how there's a Power Rangers thing going on. Like she wears purple clothes as well as a purple costume.
Got a color code.
Yeah. Very good. And here's some examples of some art as we're looking through that. Style-wise, you're absolutely right. You're going. I'm not going to say all ages because that kind of has a different connotation. But you are going for that kind of every fan type of approach. You're not going too far in one particular strand or genre there. Do you feel that?
Yeah, like it's not a mature rated comic book by any means, but like you said, maybe all ages is a bit of a stretch. I will admit, but like it's far from a mature rated R-rated comic. It's I don't really know how best to describe it other than all ages. If you got a better term, I'd love to hear it.
No, it's fine for me. I don't think it's all ages. I think it's very much I don't know, 12, 13, whatever that is, teen, I suppose, is probably where it is. The big two would call it teen book. Do you find
early teens, I'd say, because like there is some, like I don't know, just like
there is some stuff. All right, so then here's the question: then is this writing? Then is this your standard default setting, or do you prefer writing more mature or all ages stuff?
I wouldn't say it's more preference, more like what I'm used to. Like I definitely am more used to operating in a more mature sphere. Like not even just explicit R-rated, but more just like like Screecher is more of like a heavy PG, light PG-13-ish. It's kind of like goes into that area kind of thing. Like it's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean might be a good kind of comparison in terms of like
so
in terms like it's.
It intimates more than it shows.
Yes, and that's kind of what you saw with a lot of the Batman the Animated Series stuff, where it's like a lot. It was very suggestive, but like a lot of it was like go over the heads of the kids, or it didn't show anything. Like if you saw someone die, they die off screen. You'd see like the flashes of light, maybe like one or two screens. Implied more than shown.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think the best example of that is the Robin's Reckoning episode, part 1, where you see
funny.
Where you see the trapeze with them on, and then it swings back and it's empty and broken. That's how you show what happened to the Graysons without showing what happened to the Graysons.
And you know what's really crazy about going that approach? It actually makes it scarier because because it's going off of the what you don't see is what the scariest thing. Like the whole reason why Alien is so frightening, and because they do it that way, it makes it more disturbing because you don't see the bodies. It's explicitly implied, and you know what happened, but it's like eat, and it's just like you just get chills. It honestly makes it better because like. I feel like this is kind of something that's lost upon a lot of creators today. It's like limitations breed creativity.
Okay, because you have to trust the reader to join the dots.
Yeah,
and then the picture might always be the same. I think there are some creators who just kind of just throw it all on the page and you just sort of got like, whoa, too much going on. You want to see that, as you say, that intimation.
Like you'll see. I'll show a panel where like she has a claws out, and then like she grabs a USB drive that's hanging around the neck, and then like the next panel, you see the person who for the USB drive, they have a bandage around their throat. I don't show the slashing. I don't show any blood, but like there's a bandage there right where that action was, and you kind of left to infer what actually happened.
Yeah. Unlike the X-Men cartoon where Wolverine never stabbed anybody, nor was it inferred.
or in Spider-Man the Animated Series where he never punched a single person.
Yeah, exactly.
Just flipped everywhere.
Yeah. We weren't allowed to scare the pigeons, bless them. All right. Okay. So, Nick, you are live on Indiegogo as we speak. The link is down there on the page. All you need to do, if you're interested in backing the project, go along to Indiegogo, type in Screecher, and you will find it. Or you can pause this, type it out yourself. So it's fine. We don't mind as long as you back it, right? And if you want to keep up to date with information as it happens, there is the Twitter Project Access one for everything that is Nick-centric, and including Screecher. So there you go. I have followed you. You followed me. I noticed that just before the pod, so that'll be good. Excellent. I'll keep an eye on that. Give me your 2-minute elevator pitch as to why someone should back your project.
So Screecher is designed to emulate the styles of like the late 90s, early 2000s comics. If you feel like there's something that's been missing in modern comics, Screecher's got you covered. It stars Avery Fletcher, a woman who's forced back to her hometown in order to save the life of her father, who's been incarcerated for 7 years for a crime he did not commit. At her wit's end, she finds a fateful suit, in the basement, and she fixes it up to fit herself. Why is the suit there? Why was her father incarcerated? What was he incarcerated for? And what the heck is going on with all this? Find out all this and more in Screecher, issue 1.
Wow, very well done, sir. I'm very impressed. Well done. You've been practicing that, haven't you?
Partially. A lot of that was off the cuff, but I was just kind of stringing together different talking points that I've had.
Good. Excellent.
But
Nick,
also, I know the cardinal rule is ask questions. You got to ask stage questions for the readers.
Yeah. Why should they be interested? Well, this is why. Mm-hmm. Why is this going on? Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir. I really do appreciate it. Good luck with the book. You won't need luck. I mean, 88% funded with 20.
I don't got luck. I got fans.
Easy there, Elvis.
I was trying to go more for Dominic Toretto, but still.
Oh, there you go. Who's that? Fast and Furious?
Yeah, he's like, I don't got friends, I got family.
I've seen 2 Fast and Furious movies, and they're the ones with Gal Gadot in. So there you go. Says more about.
Well, at least he chose wisely.
Do not forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows and podcasts, including the Definitive Crusades, for all your DC news. And if, like Nick, you like your comics a little bit older, don't forget to check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. I am sure that Nightwing will be there sooner rather than later. There you go. Nick, thank you very much again, sir. We do appreciate it. I've been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and as always, adios.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.shop, all about comic pop culture.